Well, hello guys. I am Ivan, and I am aware it's the last 20 minutes of today, and it's being a pretty intense morning. So I'll try to keep it light and quick. But today we're going to talk about jobs to be done, which is a really simple kind of perspective that you should put your startup to see about. Because in a summary, it's just people buy products and services to get jobs done. So it's that way of thinking. Well, we can basically develop and say basically when you try people to make when you make people have a job get a job done in a cheaper and a better way, you're actually going to succeed and you're going to start seeing more sales and everything. But it's basically not really just one thing, a theory that you should work on independently with the rest, but it's something that you should put like a framework, like some lenses that you put on to see things clearer, on a way to observe markets and customers. And there's actually these job to be done lenses. I like to put it like this way, where it's kind of helping you to see the path that really is the best one for your startup. Unfortunately, it's not always like this, where you can clearly see which one's the good one and which one's the bad one. Which, if any of you are not really, this is the good one and this should be the bad one. Okay. But yeah, so basically, these need statements can be captured in days. So it's actually the good thing about these kind of lenses is that you don't need to focus and start developing this point and perspective for a really long time. This is something that you can actually develop in something about days, and then these statements are valid for years, and it's not something that you should be changing too much about what job is it that your startup is doing, basically. And there's actually this cliche which you probably have heard of, but it's really good actually to kind of see the relationship between these job to be done theory and what's the example. So people don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill. No one really does. People just want to have a quarter-inch hole. But I think this is kind of boring, and you probably have heard from it. So let's put a real world example that I think is more interesting, which actually Oliver told me about, and it's about the milkshakes example. And I put here the link of I think it was a Harvard professor who actually talks about it. So in case you have the slides, you can just go and watch this, like 9 minutes or something. So first of all, we have imagine your consultants or your whatever, you're trying to increase sales of milkshakes. And actually, this was done by McDonald's, which you know is a very good company. They know about what they're doing, and they did something. So they were selling milkshakes, but they wanted to increase that sale. So what do you usually do when you want to increase sales? Any ideas? Just like simple stuff. Okay, yeah, drop price. That's a good one.
I thought you were just like fail.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a good one. Any other? Okay, okay, good. Something. Any new features? Okay, so milkshakes like flavors or
Deals, maybe.
deals. Okay, yeah. Sorry, free samples. Okay. Hmm? Limited edition. Okay, those are always really good ideas. But I'm gonna explain now why none of this will really work in this example, and why in this particular case the job to be done strategy is like a good way of looking into this. So actually, what McDonald's did was something similar to what you were doing. So they were trying to think about ideas and also trying to collect feedback from customers and saying, okay, what would you actually, this comes in relationship with the previous one about questions and stuff. I was like, what would we need to do so that you buy more milkshakes from us? And they'll get feedback like, yeah, like different flavors, like cheaper, whatever, and they'll implement it and they'll see no results. And that was clearly very surprising. And they did this over and over again and see no results. And why is that? It's because milkshakes, the job of a milkshake is not really to be the best milkshake or even be the cheapest alternative or any of that. So first, let's try to understand what was the milkshake's objective. So they basically try to look into a different perspective, put in this job to be done lenses, and they try to understand the environment surrounding the milkshakes. They actually analyze and they realize that half of the milkshakes were sold before 8:30, which is kind of unusual. I would expect more maybe for lunch or for after lunch or whatever. They were bought alone. That means they don't buy it with food or with any other thing. They would people would buy that milkshakes. They would buy only the milkshake, and people drove off with it. So, can any of you picture who would be the person buying these milkshakes with these characteristics that I've told you before? Yeah, that's it. And for this reason, the things that you said before are not really what these people that are driving with the milkshake would really prefer or buy more if you implemented these sales or different flavors. But instead, what they do is they analyze the. Oh, I'm actually staying here. They realized that these milkshakes were the alternative for people who were just driving to. They were going to job and they didn't have anything else. They just wanted something that would keep them filled, that would be handy for when they're driving. And they actually told them, okay, if you didn't have a milkshake, what would you buy? And some people said they would try banana, but banana, you can eat them real quickly and it also kind of more messy. You have to peel it. Others talk about the Snickers, but it's also smaller. And by the end of when you're getting home, you're already hungry again. So they tried all different stuff. So it turns out milkshake, it was like thick, so they take, I think it was around 20 minutes or 23 minutes to drink it, and it is really convenient for these people. So actually, with these lenses of the job to be done, once you understand what's the job of your milkshake, you can actually pivot and go to the right place and implement the real features for that. So that will be, for example, making the bottle more suitable for driving in the car, or making it even larger, or whatever, for example. And actually, this brings a really interesting idea, and it's about the market size. So when you first think about the market size of a milkshake, if you put again these lenses of like job to be done, it's not really going to be the number of milkshakes that McDonald's, Burger King, or whoever sells them, but you're also competing against the bananas, the bagels, and the Snickers. And when they made this market size, they realized that milkshakes were the market size of milkshakes was actually 7 times the amount of what they initially thought. So this is just a good way of seeing like how you, when you put like this job to be done lenses, you're not really focusing on just the specific product, but instead you're actually looking at what other people or what other products are actually doing the same job that you're doing, and who are you really competing against. And just to finish with, I just thought putting this here. So it's the job to be done matrix, which actually talks about who charges less or more, and who gets the job done better or worse. And I'm just gonna name it because you can see there's not really that much insightful. So we have actually the dominant strategy, which is obviously people who charge less and get the job done better, and they obviously win everything. Then we have the disruptive strategy, which get the dumb job worse, but they charge less. And then discrete strategy and differentiated strategy. So I'll just put this here, so in case you have the slides, you can look at it and maybe trying to focus where your startup really is. And yeah, so like the last tip I'll give for you guys is really try to understand what's the job that your startup is trying to focus on, and instead of and pivot and really put those lenses on and understand what's the market. Um, I think that's it. So